What's going on, guys? It is your boy Matt Rice. We are here and the time has finally come. The time has finally come for me to talk about why we built the Brooklyn Dodger and where you guys can see it, what the plans are, everything else. For those of you guys that don't know, we built the Dodger in a little less than 3 weeks. Me and the guys here from DNS got together and put a 55 Dodge on an 87 S10 frame, extended cab with a small block Chevy and a little bit of nitrous. I mean, did all kinds of cool stuff, but really just in the middle of winter, there were some days we had snow and everything else. You know, there was a point where I think I did it live. I was washing the truck and it, the water was freezing before it hit the ground. So we did it for about 3 weeks and nobody really ever understood why. It seems kind of counterproductive. I mean, I have a race car and I've got stuff that I need to get done, but we can finally talk about it. They finally made the announcement on Discovery Channel that July 19th, Getaway Driver is coming to Discovery. It's going to be Monday night at 9 o'clock. If you guys have Discovery Plus, you can get it a week early, and that's it. You know, about I would say it was a little more than a year ago, I got asked to participate in this show. Now, we had a rough idea of what was going to happen. Things, changed throughout, and there were some baseline stuff that they had talked about, and there was talk that there would be pit maneuvers allowed. So that's kind of what wrapped up not bringing Fool's Gold. I love that car to death, and I just could not chance, ruining it on the show. With that being said, that's how we came up with the Dodger, because we built something that we knew might get smashed up. It kind of comes with the territory. Now, if you guys have seen, I did a little bit of smashing myself. I went out to Cletus and Cars and, did that whole adventure. Maybe put it into a wall over there. But I can tell you guys that you're gonna want to see what happens on the TV show. Now, I can't talk a whole lot about it, but I can tell you guys that it is insane. It was probably one of, if not the most fun things I have ever done in my life. We got to be getaway drivers. Michelle Rodriguez, aka Letty from Fast and the Furious, throws us some cash and says, if you can escape, you can keep it. Now, I can't talk about what happened and everything, at least not until the show comes out, but I can tell you guys, you're not going to want to miss it. Now, you guys can see the truck is kind of in a disheveled state right now. I mean, we built the thing. A buddy let us use an airport for a day, and we had a lot of fun out there. We just went out, beat up on the truck, just kind of tested it before the show to make sure that it wouldn't overheat, it would run and drive, we could continuously beat on it for an extended period of time. But that was also a very cool experience because we got to do some things that we've never done before. For one, my mom got to drive a fast-ish kind of race truck thing.
See anything?
That's Florida.
Mallory got to drive it. My mom and Mallory both got to do their first burnouts.
Yeah, you're good.
Justin's wife got to drive it. Brandon's wife got to drive it. And everybody that built it got to drive it. So we had a little bit of fun, but there wasn't a whole lot of wheel time before the show. That's neither here nor there. Trust me, when after the episode airs, we'll be doing some podcasts, we'll be doing some other stuff, and we'll talk a lot more in depth about it. But after that, the truck pretty much disappeared. Well, the reason it disappeared is because it got shipped off to go for filming. So went down there, filmed the show, had an excellent time, and then got the truck back, and the motor was a little hurt. There were some things, that had to get fixed up, whatever. So fixed it up a little bit, threw an LS in it, and then took it clear down to Florida, thanks to the help of really all of you guys, all the fans, all supporters, everybody. We did a cool thing where we took everybody who wanted to donate to the trip, and we put their name on the truck. And it didn't matter what the donation was. Could have been 1, 10, 5, 15, 20. Doesn't matter what it was. And it just allowed me to bring everybody on that experience with me. Now, unfortunately, that experience didn't go quite like I thought it would. That's another thing we'll probably talk about on some podcasts and everything else. But it was an awesome time. Getting out there on the course, beating the truck up, really just pushing it to its limits and having fun with it, which is really why it was kind of built, was a good time. After that, we stopped in Tennessee. That's where I ended up making a big mistake. I'm going to assume some things that I did to the truck is why it ended up happening. We ended up blowing the bell housing apart on the truck. So unfortunately, ever since then, the truck hasn't really ran. Now, I can tell you guys that, over the last few weeks, months-ish, whatever, I've been in contact with the company that made the show, and we've been discussing some different stuff about editing. They needed, this thing signed, or this or that, or they needed a little bit of this footage or that footage, whatever. So I've been working with them, and it got to a point where I was out last weekend, and somebody sent me a screenshot of the preview and said, "Hey, did you know anything about this?" And I said, "No." Now, obviously, I did know something about the show, but it was somebody else who was on the show. We didn't know that it was announced. So actually, my point of contact for the production company, I actually sent that to them and said, "Hey, look, they put it out. Are we clear to talk about it? Are we clear to do stuff?" There's some gray area here about what we can and can't do. I'm not entirely sure. I have an understanding of some of the stuff I signed in the contract, and obviously I can't talk about specific details of what happened on the show, at least until it airs. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and not really say much about it other than it was a blast. It is probably one of the coolest things I've ever done, and you guys are really, really going to enjoy it. Because I can tell you, one of the things I can tell you is that I didn't see any of it. I didn't see the people I was competing against. I didn't see the people, on the other episodes. I haven't seen anybody actually take on the course. So the only thing that I have in my head is my time on the course. Now, I can tell you I did some pretty wild and fun shit, so I'm hype about that. But I also know that there was all kinds of cool ass drivers on there. There's professional drifters, big name YouTube folks, professional, racers. There was all kinds of stuff. Somehow they thought it was a really good idea to sneak your boy in there, slid in there with all these wild ass drivers. And, like I said, when the episode comes out, we'll talk about how I did and everything else. But it was a great time. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So I guess now we can start kind of talking about what's next for the truck. Now that we're at the point where the episode is coming out, there's a couple things that are definitely going to happen. I've talked to Dwayne and the guys at DNS. I'm not 100% sure just yet on where we're going to be, but I can tell you that we are going to have a watch party when my episode comes out. Now, we talked about, I don't know if the Discovery Plus gives you every episode a week early or what, or if we have to do it that Monday night at 9, but we've talked about having the watch party right here at the shop. We might do something where we combine like an open house and watch party and have everybody over and do that right here. There's a couple, questions about whether or not we can do that here and why, and obviously this is a working shop. There's other people's cars here, there's customer cars. We kind of are anticipating having quite a few people here, so I don't know that is going to be the case. We talked about the possibility of like maybe renting out a restaurant or something like that. If any local restaurant in the area would be interested in something like that, that's something we could talk about. I would love to maybe support that. I'm not sure just how we're going to do it just yet, but we're definitely going to do that. And now that the episode is coming out and we can really talk about it and I can show you guys why it came to be and everything else, I think it's time we bring it back to life. So I've been kind of here and there collecting some little parts, nothing outrageous by any means. Some used suspension parts. Hughes, I worked with Hughes and they sent out another torque converter to kind of pep this thing up as opposed to the torque converter I had in it when I put the LS in. We're probably going to go back to a carbureted setup with zoomies. I think that this truck, part of what made this truck what it is having zoomies on it. And although you can do it with fuel injection, and that's a whole conversation for a whole other time, I don't think that right now I want to do it with fuel injection. I would like to do it with carbureted, mostly because, number one, I want the sound. There's a special sound that this thing had, carbureted, zoomies, small block Chevy. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to do small block Chevy. Going to probably keep this thing in LS just for ease of LS is what I have. I have multiple parts. I have extra, heads and blocks and other whatever it is that I need. I do have some spares of, and then also some stuff can get robbed from Fool's Gold and all that kind of stuff. So we're definitely going to be bringing it back to life. That's probably going to be the game plan for the next few weeks. Unfortunately, I've been really kind of working pretty well on Fool's Gold here, but it's important to me that the truck is back together and working and running and driving again. I think that with everything that we've got going on with the television show coming out, there may be other things that I may have to be involved with, either with the promotion of that, or I don't really know what's going to happen with all that just yet. But for me, I think it would make the most sense to get the truck back together, running, driving, stopping, working, so this way, whatever opportunities arise from it, I don't have to miss any of that. I don't have to say, well, guys, I would love to, but the truck don't really work right now, so I can't do nothing. We've already talked about, either trying to fix this front end or find some replacement parts. We're still on the hunt for 55 Dodge front end, pretty much the front end. The hood's still in good shape. I think that'll be fine. But the front fenders, this forward part here where the grill is, really I think if we got another front part here where the grill is, that whole front clip, the front fenders, we could probably bang out enough that they would be straight. Because part of what I don't want to do too is maybe not necessarily put brand new fenders on it if they even make them, but put brand new fenders on it and eliminate some of that character and some of those memories that I had from the show, from the Cletus Burnout contest, from everything really. And I think that when you guys see the show, you'll see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. But I don't want to completely, toss those memories to the side either. I'd like them to remain a part of the truck and part of the character of the truck, because that's really what it was built for. What are we going to do with it? I have no clue. I've got no idea what to do with this thing. Mallory and I were talking about it. I talked with Dwayne and them about it a little bit. Like, the truck really doesn't have a purpose. It did, the purpose was to go compete in Getaway Driver. And we did that. The truck has served its purpose. Now, I think that there's way too much blood and sweat and tears and enjoyment and highs and lows and everything else to even consider trying to get rid of it. I think that this is something that probably needs to stay with us for a little while. Whether it's myself or Justin or Brandon or Dwayne or Mallory or, whatever the case may be, it needs to stay in our circle. I don't think it needs to go outside of that. What do we plan to do with it? I just don't know. I mean, like I said, we've got some used suspension parts that are really nothing special. Some slide link bars for the rear. We have some Z71 or the Chevy Extreme, whatever it is they're called, the front springs, the factory front springs. I've got to put new ball joints on it. It needs new shocks in the front. It's not really set up to be a drag car or anything like that, or no prep or street race or anything like that. But that's the world that I come from, so I kind of feel like I'm leaning towards maybe we'll do some of that with it. The rear is not built up. I mean, none of this stuff is really super built or anything else, mainly because of time and budget that we had to put it together for the show. And then after that, obviously I wanted to get back to the Nova because that's what I believe is really going to be the fast, small tire, street race, no prep competitor. I don't know that this truck will ever get that far, but we'll see. So I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do with it just yet, but I know that in my heart and in my head and thinking about what's coming and what's gonna be happening, I think that it's best that we get it back together, get the front end straightened out a little bit, put a carb back on it, put zoomies back on it, throw the hood back on it, maybe get the fenders kind of lined out, figure out a way to get those back on, and get the thing running and driving again. I would love, we talked about it earlier, I would love to take this thing around on a dirt track just for the hell of it, because I'd never do it with the Nova, but I would definitely do it with the truck. That would be something cool just to experience and do. Obviously, I love racing and street racing and no prep, so the problem there is that it just really wouldn't be competitive. I mean, we could put some nitrous back on it and all that, but even still, it's probably just not going to be that fast. Who knows? We might end up doing a little bit of that. But I can definitely tell you right now, actually part of the reason I'm even in the shop right now is to go ahead and get started on this. So we're not going to waste any time. Probably over the next week or 2 or 3 or however long it takes, I'm going to put all my focus and time and energy and effort into getting this thing back together. There's only one thing, well, a couple things, that I have to do in the next few weeks. I'm throwing a race at Knoxville Dragway, Party at the Ville, presented by Hot Shot Secret, where we're racing the track backwards, July 19th, or July 17th, I apologize. July 19th is the show air date. July 17th, Party at the Ville, Knoxville Dragway, running it backwards. I've obviously got to do the promotional stuff for that and, talking with the racers and getting everything lined out and all that kind of stuff, organized. There's a lot that has to happen there. I've got to do some work for Hot Shot Secret that I've always got to do. That's a continuous thing. But I don't have anything else going on. I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do, tremendous amounts of work for anybody else. So I really want to go ahead and take the time to get this thing done. Now, that's going to put a little hindrance on getting the Nova done. But there's some other stuff and surprises, maybe for the Nova, I don't know. We'll see how we decide to do it and everything works out, that are going to be coming anyway. So I think what we should do now is just to kind of end this off. Throughout this video, I wanted to drop little clips in of, different stuff that we've done with the truck, enjoyment, happiness, a lot of fun that we've had. But now let's take a look at the truck in what is its current state after Getaway Driver, after smashing it into the wall at Cletus and Cars, after destroying the bell housing and everything else. Let's go ahead and take a look at it now so we can kind of get an idea of what needs to be done and what it's going to take to make this thing operational again. But before we do that, there's one super important thing that I want to do, and that is thank each and every one of you. Absolutely anybody. I mean, No bullshit. Even the haters. If you're a hater and you're watching this video right now, thank you. Because anybody who watches the videos, shares the videos, likes them, leaves a comment, does whatever, you guys are what made this opportunity possible. This is probably the biggest opportunity that I've ever been involved in, and it is a direct result of everything that you guys do. You know, like I said, it doesn't matter who you are, how little or how much you watch, just anybody who watches this, anybody who supports me, supports the channel, supports SHITBOX Supply. These are all the things that have allowed me to do this and what gave me the opportunity. You know, I didn't go out and search for this. They came to me. They came to, 24 drivers across the country, and for whatever reason, they thought that I was, capable and would make a good addition to this. And I think that that's a direct result of all the love and support that I get from you guys. So genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, even to the haters watching this right now, thank you very much, because you guys made it possible. I just did the work. I filmed it. Don't get me wrong. I've been traveling across the country. I've been busting my ass. I've been doing a lot of different things. And, all of that doesn't mean anything without the love and support of you guys. Because honestly, if I didn't have the love and support of every single one of you guys, I probably would have quit this shit a while ago. It's definitely not easy, and it's definitely not what everybody thinks. But I can tell you, having people in your corner definitely makes it worth it. So thank you guys. Now let's take a look at the truck and figure out what it's going to take to get this thing back together.
So as you guys can see, this right here was a direct result of Cletus and Cars there, where I kind of clipped that wall, caught that wall, put it back and buried it into the wall. Now I've already put the carb LS intake on here, but the whole motor is going to come out. It's going to be easier for me to just take the motor out completely and then take the trans out, take the front end off, do all that stuff, get it all out. And I might go ahead and re-gasket the motor while I'm at it, just so that way when I put it all back together, we don't got a big leaking motor mess and all that. That's where you can see the zoomies go. Like I said, the fenders aren't terrible. We could probably get those to work pretty well again, but some of this front end stuff here is just pretty bad from where I, Cletus and Cars did and all that. Still the OG interior, which is now a wiring mess because I've got wiring laying in there. I've got bits of bell housing laying in there. The bell housing came apart into pieces. That's my fault. I'll take that one. And both fenders are off right now, partially from Cletus and Cars, actually all from Cletus and Cars, because when I popped this tire, it exploded that fender up. This one it was the one that hit the wall, so I've got to switch a few things around. Like I said, I've got different leaf springs, an old set of leaf springs from a friend with slather link bars on it. We've got to go back to carbureted fuel pump setup and fuel line and all that. Let me see if I can open this damn thing. Yeah. And we got to take the Holley terminator system out because that's obviously going into this. So we've got quite a bit of work ahead of us, no doubt. And I say us, mostly me. I definitely think the guys, Dwayne and Justin and Brandon and all them are definitely going to be giving a helping hand when they can. But they've already sacrificed so much to make this thing come together the first time. I don't want to, I don't want to make it their problem again. I mean, they've already done an incredible job and got us to the point we are now. So, but there you guys have it. There is the current state of the Dodger and all of its somewhat glory. But now I think it's time we tear this damn thing apart, get it fixed up, put some damn zoomies back on it, because I think that was really one of my favorite parts of this truck. There's not many things that I'm probably ever going to have in life that has zoomies on it, but this one I can, so I will. Well, that's going to be it for now.
So that's going to be it for now, guys. I obviously need to get to work. There's a lot that needs to be done here.
So I'm going to get to work, start tearing this thing apart, start working on the next series of videos, which is going to be bringing the Dodger back to life. Make sure you guys check out Getaway Driver on Discovery Channel July 19th at 9 p.m. If you have Discovery Plus, you guys are going to get an early sneak peek at it. You're going to get that a week beforehand. Now, I'm not sure if every episode comes out a week beforehand or just that one, but make sure you guys check it out. I will let you know as soon as that I know that I'm allowed to. I'll let you guys know when my episode airs and which one I'm on and everything else, but we might see that in the previews too. Go check it out. Thank you guys once again. I couldn't have done this without you. Y'all are really the best.